And we are live for some Tuesday night Chair League action here on Heroes of the Storm. My name's Terra Spaz, and I'm here to bring you a round of 16 playoff match between Die for Vision on the blue team and MMR Hell on the red, representing the bracket buster match of Division 3. That's right, Rank 8 versus Rank 9. These teams could not be more evenly matched if you'd crafted them from purposeful planning itself. And we're starting off with the bands of the meta: Samaro for Die for Vision and Malfurion for MMR Hell. Both heroes not quite as unbelievably powerful as they were in their heyday, but they're still very strong, and it doesn't take many losses against them to leave a bad taste in your mouth. So we see Brightwing, the pickup for Die for Vision. Second to Malfurion, arguably the strongest support in the game, hands down. And especially on a map as large as this one, you can really capitalize on Brightwing's ability to move around the map very quickly. And certainly a priority pick for that reason. MMR Hell going for Li Ming and Muradin for a core that really can't... really hard to punish at this stage in the draft. There's a whole lot of teams that would benefit from Muradin plus Li Ming, and since they're going to have to suffer through 2 picks on Die for Vision as well as a ban on each side, it's going to be a long time before they get to add to their team. So getting a solid core, it's like working out, right? If you get a solid core, if you're abs and other muscles that I'm told people are strong, and then you can really build from there and have a lot of success, no matter if you're running a marathon or just looking to power lift. Die for Vision looking to apply a bunch of damage liberally to the battlefield itself as well, in the form of Kael'thas, and Johanna can be Kael'thas's best friend if the timing's there. Condemn can put people into a tight grouped circle, which coincidentally is what Kael'thas wants to spread Living Bomb and hit with the Flame Strike. So a really good start for Die for Vision. Like MMR Hell, they seem to have a team that can slot well into a lot of different things and can deliver damage against a lot of different things. We're all going to be the band from MMR Hell. Die for Vision still doesn't have a good frontliner that can unload damage like a Thrall or a Greymane or a Kerrigan. But for that matter, neither does MMR Hell, but MMR Hell is going to have first crack at it. So I would expect to see a hero similar to Thrall come out of MMR Hell, but we'll see what comes. MMR Vision still in their ban, and Ariel's going to be the takeaway. Noting that MMR Hell does not have a support selected yet, and with Brightwing and Malfurion on the table, just kind of go down the list of, well, what supports have had a lot of success, and Ariel's certainly high up there. So well thought out bans for both teams, and we'll see how things progress from there. And there's that Greymane pick. Thrall, one of the few heroes that can stand toe-to-toe, and with him gone, Greymane is just that much more free to go in and unleash his rage. So MMR Hell still lacking a support role, so we may see that here. I may also see a hero with a decent amount of wave clear, maybe someone who doesn't participate in the first couple curses. Or first couple tributes, rather. There's still a lot of different ways MMR Hell could take this ship through the waters ahead. And both teams are doing very well with clock management. Haven't had a lot of time. You can tell both teams are really experienced and really knowledgeable about what they're doing. As they're cruising through the early part of the draft and really spending a lot of time here at the end to get those last picks and figure out how they're going to craft that last pick based on the information they've gotten from their opponent. Kharazim's going to be the pick for MMR Hell, so that simultaneously puts another person in the front line and can have a lot of utility based on what you want to do with Kharazim. With Cursed Hollow, the fights are in essentially circular areas around the tribute. There's not a whole lot of places to go other than that when they're active, and being able to reveal all that can certainly give a nice heads up if a big damage train's coming in. and Divine Palm can really save someone who's been bombed or just has a lot of damage coming in from a Flame Strike underfoot. So a solid pickup from MMR Hell, and Die for Vision responds with Nazeebo, who has sort of come out of nowhere over the last few weeks. I don't know if it's a recent patch or some of the tweaking of other heroes, but Nazeebo has become a monster in the late game. And there's a couple heroes for MMR Hell, and can't remember if Li Ming's teleport can go through the zombie wall. I believe it can, but don't hold me to that. So it won't be quite as punishing. MMR Hell has a response to it. Certainly not everybody doesn't, and it can certainly just dish out a lot of damage and really capitalize on boss pushes, as well as mow down buildings when if Die for Vision's able to get a curse. Final pick for Die for Vision, and if I had to guess, they're going to pick a frontliner, and what a frontliner they've picked in the form of ETC. So huge health pools for Johanna and ETC to protect the frail, brittle-boned members of their team behind them. And come to think of it, that if Johanna, ETC, and Kel'Thas can really coordinate and get their timings on point, that represents a disgusting amount of damage that Die for Vision could unload in mere seconds. But MMR Hell has one last pick to respond with this, and to be honest, I'm not sure what they may go with. They may put another big beefy person in front to get a team that sort of resembles Die for Vision's as well. They may elect to go for an assassin, or I could be totally wrong, and instead they're going to pick Abathur as their last pick. Hero of the Zerg Swarm, ultimate scientist, seeking evolution, and he's going to mine and symbiote and other abilities his way to victory. I've never played him, but people on my team have, and they tell me he's good eventually. So that's the draft. Thrilling from both teams. We should get loaded in here in just a moment, and we'll be with you in just a moment. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Adjust some settings here. Apologize for this. Should have done this in advance. So looking at the draft for both teams, it's really hard to tell. So MMR Hell can drag out these fights, which Li Ming is going to be able to do fairly well, but maybe only Li Ming. If they can make this take a long time, then they can really capitalize off that Abathur value and really start ratcheting up the experience train. But if the fights are decisive, if Die for Vision can get an early pick on those 4v5s, then it may go quickly to Die for Vision's favor. But we'll see how it goes. It's not often you get to see an Abathur match, so I'm thrilled to have this opportunity. And we are live, loaded into Cursed Hollow for some playoff round of 16 Chair League action. Representing the red team, MMR Hell, we have Zemexican on Muradin, B-Mills on Li Ming, Red Conscript on Greymane, Blue Nichols on Karazim, and Brooklyn Bum captaining on Abathur. And representing Die for Vision on the blue team, we have Renz on Kel'Thas, Kerrigan on Nazeebo, Joey Jojo Jr. on Brightwing, Zuz on Johanna, and captaining in ETC, it's Handsome Man. True to his nature, Handsome Man decides to go up and not die, but take Vision relatively uncontested. And we see both teams sort of setting up here in the middle with the majority of their forces. MMR Hell looking to find an early pick somewhere, but Die for Vision not. Not affording it just yet, and we'll see. I just realized my microphone might not be on. It is. We're fine. It's been a long day. I apologize, but we have some scuffling here in the top lane. Abathur soaking in somewhere for MMR Hell. We are on a 30-second delay, but I don't want to try and say too much, just in case folks might be listening. But you can see on the minimap where he is. Down on the bottom, we've got a scuffle between Greymane and Nazebo. So far, no huge damage on the board yet. Nazebo just a quite bit low, but still very far away from a takedown if he plays safe. A bunch of damage coming out against Karazim, but he just punches his way through and says, I don't really care. I'm a monk, and I was born to hit things. A lot of damage coming down on Muradin now. He gets turned into a pig, and he's a cooked sausage running back to his fortifications, but he'll restore his health very easily. And so far, not a whole lot of huge action here on the map. Scuffling continuing in all the lanes. Nazebo might be a bit extended here, but oh no, it's Greymane who's caught in through the wall, but he is able to escape both with a sliver of health, and that is a very close engagement. Abathur just being an absolute troll to ETC here in the top lane, just doing his dance in front of the building, knowing that there's not a lot ETC can do to punish it as long as he stays safe. But able to soak experience with that little train and the body as well. So both teams still relatively tight on experience. Vision maintaining a small advantage. Maybe that wave that Nazebo is able to gobble up uncontested in the bottom is may just be the difference. So level 4 is achieved for Vision early, and so far no takedowns or real substantial damage for either team, but that should change here soon as we have the first tribute spawning in the bottom, which is great for Abathur, who's going to be able to just sit in lane and just pump out experience bots without really having to move a whole lot. Both teams setting up. ETC is going to be late to the fight, so it's going to be 4-on-4 to start. The initiation does come down from Vision. A huge amount of damage going on to both Greymane and Muradin, both at around half health. And Muradin falling even farther, and he gets pushed into the wall. He's able to dwarf toss to safety, and the poison damage is just barely not going to take him out as his trait does engage, and he starts bringing it back to safety. But crucially, this can't go on forever. Johanna is quite low on mana, burns the last of it just to fire off another Condemn, so it's going to be hard for Vision to really decisively capitalize on this, but they are able to put another bucket load of damage onto Muradin, but ETC's falling as well. First takedown of the game's going to go for Vision as Muradin falls, but they aren't going to be able to really relish in the victory as they have to go into a full retreat, trading Greymane for Kael'thas, so a 2-for-1 now in favor of Vision. And that Abathur is just slowly starting to do some work, just hopping from hero to hero. Karazim on death's door, but able to escape. And the first tribute's going to go for Vision, and somehow during all that, they were able to keep a lead on experience. They had a little bit larger lead going into that, so Abathur was able to tighten the race despite surrendering a takedown. So in all, still a very even match for both teams. No significant structure damage, but all the ammo is drained out of that top, one of the towers in the top lane. But if Vision is able to apply some pressure up there, then that should just repair itself in short order. Meanwhile, we see a bit of a strategy shift from MMR Hell. We see Karazim duking it out with Nazebo now. And so far looking a little bit the worse for wear for it. Nazebo does unload lots of damage, and it's only going to get worse as his voodoo counter gets voodiferous. His tribute is up in the top lane. Not super favorable for Vision. You can see they were looking to get that siege camp there to capitalize on the tribute timing, but the position's not in their favor. Big minefield around, so if Vision decides to go for the long engage, that could get hairy for them. Still rotating in Nazebo, so it's a 4-on-4 for the moment. ETC goes ham, tries to put the punishment on Muradin again, and he's going to be able to escape as the damage comes back against ETC. And MMR Hell with the full flank here. Li Ming cutting off damage into the retreat, and everybody else putting pressure from the front, but Muradin's now going to fall, so both tanks gone. Greymane Greymane does manage to get enough damage over time to get taken out, so another 2-for-1 in favor of Die for Vision as they collect tribute number 2. Li Ming escapes with the slimmest of resources. No health, no mana, but as my Magic the Gathering friends often said, 1 is not 0, and as long as you've got 1, you're not dead. But Abathur, again, still keeping MMR Hill in the fight, and despite, again, suffering a 2-for-1, they're still just essentially tied on experience. And so that's largely how this game goes. The fights will almost always be in Die for Vision's favor at this stage of the game. But if it's ever not, if MMR Hell's ever able to get a pick, then the advantage just starts rolling. So it's if you surrender a 1-for-0 with an Abathur on the other team, then that really changes the dynamic of the game. Curse point here for Die for Vision, again in the top lane. Abathur setting up shop up in the bottom. Looks like everyone's going to be close to in time. Muradin going to be a tad late, and a lot of damage coming out here on Greymane. I'm not sure he's going to be able to escape this very easily, as half of his health pool is depleted, but he is going to fight and live another day. And instead, the damage comes out hard on Nazeebo, but he's also able to stick away. ETC cutting off the retreat for Greymane. His health has fallen quite low, but again, he's able to hang on by a thread, and Die for Vision doing an excellent job coordinating their damage, focusing a single hero, and discouraging them from continuing in the fight. And that's how they've been able to slowly push their way forward onto these tributes and secure the first curse of the game. The curse is active, full minute, it towers off, and 1 health minion staring down Die for Vision. And to top it all off, they have their heroics, and they're looking to put a big hurting here on the mid lane, blowing up Muradin completely. Nazeebo should be able to escape here. And so a quick takedown is going to easily let this fort fall, and it looks like they may be going for more here, trying to at least take out the walls of this mid keep, but you can see playing very cautiously, not willing to commit too hard for it. And this is fairly good sense from Die for Vision. One of the gut reactions when you get a curse is to sort of try to push all the lanes and get as much get as much damage done as you can. But during that, minions just push down that top fort completely on their own with no assistance from Die for Vision. So good awareness from Die for Vision, knowing that they didn't need to rotate up top to get the damage they wanted done. And MMR Hell can't really get an engagement here. They're down a level. Heroics are online, but they're trying to fight too many fires at once to really get a decisive engagement here. They had to keep mid pushed back to avoid substantial damage on their keep. Greymane here feeling quite a bit cheeky, trying to catch someone out, maybe bait someone into a couple mines. But a lot of his resources are very far away. Karazim's off in the top lane, Muradin's in the mid. So he's not going to be able to get a real hard engagement with all that damage that exists from Nazeebo to punish. Speaking of spread out, Brightwing, I believe she took, did she take Pixie Charm? We'll see here in a minute. No, just able to punch. Oh, she did take Pixie Charm. So she was able to bribe that camp and really make use of her mobility, applying pressure outside of where the fight's going to be. But Handsome Man caught out, taking a lot of damage as ETC, but is able to power slide away. And will retreat to safety. So almost a pick from MMR Hell, but the fight's not over yet. Kael'thas and Johanna in full retreat, taking a bunch of damage from Li Ming and Greymane, and things look pretty grim for Johanna as she gets taken out. So it's maybe the start of the comeback for MMR Hell. They're down a level. They catch Handsome Man out as well. It's now 2-for-0. In position to maybe threaten boss. Emerald Wind did get used, so that tool that can be used to prevent a steal is off the table for another 40 seconds. But we'll see how this goes. 4-on-3 at the boss. Johanna may be able to make it here in time. It's not quite likely, but Greymane taking a lot of damage. I don't know if he's going to be able to escape this. And this is a hairy fight. Somewhere in the middle of that, Abathur got taken out. I think that siege camp might have done it. Greymane falls, and what looked like such a promising engagement from MMR Hell quickly falls apart as Die for Vision's able to get back in time and save the boss for themselves, all while a tribute's up. So, you know, MMR not in a position to really contest this with so many of their heroes being out of the fight or low on resources. So it's kind of a moot point. But this boss, assisted by Nazebo, is going to get a substantial amount of damage done. We see Die for Vision sending the majority of their resources here into the mid lane, just trying to maintain vision, trying to keep a presence where it can rotate quickly to the next tribute. But otherwise, no significant action out on the map. Boss still at about half health, but Die for Vision not really in a position to continue pushing with it. They don't want to extend that far onto MMR's side of the board. And so this boss will get cleaned up here. Meanwhile, Die for Vision rotating to say, you know what, that stealing a boss is fun. Let's show you how to do it. We're going to take yours. MMR Hell has a sense. They can't see them on the board. They know what's coming. Can they get here in time? Greymane trying to get in there. Will he be able to get the dive? No, the boss does go to Die for Vision. We get a Greymane copy of from Abathur. So far, no takedowns yet, but it's unlikely that MMR is going to escape this unscathed as Muradin starts taking a great deal of damage. ETC gets in there to make sure he can't go anywhere, and the stuns just keep on coming. But ETC, or Muradin, may be able to get away from this yet. So the boss barreling down on the top keep as a consolation prize. Abathur is able to soak or to pick up the tribute in the meantime. So at least they won't have to worry about an imminent curse coming up. And they do get the takedown. No, they do get the takedown on ETC. It cost them a Li Ming. A nice Divine Shield's gonna, or a nice Divine Palm's gonna save Karazim from the, save Greymane from the Brink of Doom. And it looks like this keep is fairly easily gonna fall, and the pressure continues to come in for Die for Vision. It might be risky for them to try to get more, but who knows? They have the talent tier advantage and a 2-level one at that. They may say, you know what, we're four against your 3. I think we can take this. The boss does go down, shield still active on the core, so no substantial damage as Die for Vision begins their retreat. Brightwing with the assists. But Muradin didn't get the memo. He said, this fight's not over, I'm here to continue engaging. And looks like Nazebo may be getting caught out here, but instead it's going to be Muradin who's fallen quite low on health. Li Ming winds up falling. The damage is just pouring out of Die for Vision as it's a 2-for-nothing. I'm sorry, a 2-for-1 as Brightwing gets taken out. So it's not all roses. And in fact, it's a 2-for-2 as Nazebo and Brightwing get traded for Muradin and Li Ming. But that's the kick in the pants that Die for Vision needed to continue going. Our catapults are now at their back, so they could continue to threaten this keep if they so chose. Abathur looking to scoop up this tribute is able to hearth out just in time as the damage train comes rolling into the station for Die for Vision. And so this may come down to the next tribute fight. If MMR Hell can secure the next tribute and with it a curse, that might be able to push all the lanes back and start threatening structures of Die for Visions, because right now MMR Hell's just been on defense ever since the first engagement. Their keep is down, and they're not going to benefit from a long, drawn-out stalemate. They're going to have to get a big win and get it pretty soon if they want to crawl back into this game. And this is where it's going to happen. Tribute's going to spawn on MMR side in the bottom half of the map. Muradin, the advanced scouting party for MMR Hell, but the damage comes pouring down on him. Avatar is popped, so it's going to be quite a task to take him out, but instead it's Kel'Thas who's going to be the first casualty of this fight. Greymane manages to escape with a sliver of health. ETC rolls straight into a giant orb from Li Ming. Nazebo's going to get taken down, so right now it's a 3-for-1 as somewhere Nazebo... I'm sorry, now it's a 3-for-1 as Greymane gets taken out, and it's a full team wipe for MMR Hell, and this is what they need to get back into it. They're going to be able to set up the engagements they want. They can take this tribute at any point they want, and they're going to get some substantial damage from this. And as the minions drop to 1 health, that should be enough to take care of this camp as well here in the top lane. So another about 5 seconds before Die for Vision begins spawning. This fort's certainly going to fall. This fort has already fallen. And we see MMR Hell suddenly getting the structures and now an experience lead that they've sorely been lacking for the majority of the game. Abathur back at home cleaning up the siege giants that were pecking away at the core. Weren't able to break the shield, so still at 100% health. And MMR Hell not looking to press the advantage any harder. They got the damage they want done. They're not looking to take any more of a gamble. But somebody tell that to Muradin as the scouting party continues to keep tabs on where Die for Vision is. But not looking to get an engagement without backup. So good awareness from MMR Hell. Just to keep tabs on what Die for Vision is doing. This was an important curse for MMR Hell, but it's by no means over. Die for Vision still has all of their keep standing, and those catapults in the top lane are going to become a problem once again. So MMR Hell, while a level up, it still feels like they're on the back foot. It still feels like they've got to solve more problems than Die for Vision does. But the only problem they're going to solve is how long is it going to take us to go get our boss. So they begin the engagement on the top. It looks like Die for Vision's trying to set up a trap for MMR Hell, but MMR Hell not biting for it. They say, you know what? We've tried taking your boss before. It didn't end great. Let's go take the safe option and continue to push those catapults back to buy us some more time. Because it doesn't look like they're going to push with it with anybody other than Abathur. MMR Hell thinking, well, maybe we do have a shot at this. We haven't seen them in a long time. Boss hasn't been capped yet. Maybe we can get it, but it's not quite gonna be the case. So boss active for both teams. Big engagement coming on Die for Vision's boss spawn site. Abathur Greymane is gonna fall, so that's gonna remove the power advantage in this fight from MMR Hell. Weren't able to secure a takedown for that, but that's okay. Still able to do quite a bit of damage. MMR Hell rotating to take out Die for Vision's boss before it does substantial damage. MMR Hell's boss, on the other hand, should be able to plow through this fort fairly easily before Die for Vision can get there to assist. And so not the devastating boss damage you always hope for when you take it, but it's something. Taking a boss not only does a bit of damage for yourself, but it removes the threat of your opponent taking it, which can sometimes be even worse. So both teams should have vision on each other. MMR Hell would have seen the boss fall, so they've got an idea of about how much time left before Die for Vision rotates in. Tribute's going to be up here in the top lane. Not a huge threat for either team right now. We see Die for Vision just totally passing on it. Say, you know what, we're not in position. We're not going to stream in there and get picked off one by one. Let's go get a mercenary camp. You can have it. You're not going to get another curse anyway. What does it matter? It's just a scoreboard. But Storm Talent's available for MMR Hell now, almost online for Die for Vision. And we're reaching the stage of the game where buildings and positioning stop mattering so much compared to who wins the next team fight. I mean, if MMR Hell can win another team fight as decisively as they did that last one they secured, then they can barrel straight through a keep and maybe more than that. But they're too spread out at the moment, and Die for Vision's escorting a bruiser camp into the mid lane to look to do some significant damage to this mid structure. And so far both teams just poking, just being very safe, not looking to get the hard engagement. And so far, no huge damage still, but while all this is going on, Abathur pushing the bottom lane, building a fairly substantial wave. And this is a very favorable tribute spawn for MMR Hell, as Die for Vision, if they want to contest this, because they've already surrendered one, and one's not really a big deal, but once they're at two, then that demands a response. And so far, the response is going to be, let's damage the crap out of Muradin, blowing away half his health in just a series of abilities. But so far, the poking continues. MMR Hell trying to find a way into Die for Vision's back line, but Johanna and ETC doing a great job preventing that. And unfortunately, a ton of damage going down on ETC. He is going to get taken out. Brightwing soon after. But Karazim's going to fall as well. So a 2-for-1 in favor of MMR Hell as the tribute's still up. 3-on-3 at the tribute site. Greymane ripping apart Nazebo as he falls very quickly. Johanna trying to escort Kelthus to safety. Can't do it, so it's going to be almost a full team wipe as Johanna pops her Storm talent to stay alive, and it's a complete team wipe now for Diaper Vision. MMR Hell's got 30 seconds of total map control, and it looks like they're looking to capitalize on it. Abathur unloading Locusts on this keep. This is likely to fall here. Minion waves not really in a great position for MMR Hell to do significant damage here in the top. Those catapults have really ensured that Diaper Vision's going to have some level of security here in the top lane. And the saving grace for Diaper Vision is that keep they took early in the game. It demanded that Li Ming return back to base to ensure they didn't suffer any permanent core damage. And so that more than anything might be why MMR Hell wasn't able to push through and get a keep during all that. Curse point up for MMR Hell here in the bottom lane around midfield. Diaper Vision trying to trickle in, going to be coming in one at a time. They got to be very careful not to suffer a takedown as Nazebo just strolls into Karazim Greymane, but ETC joins the fight real fast. A 4 versus 3 in favor of MMR Hell. The damage comes out again, hot and heavy on ETC, and he's going to fall real quick. But Ghost ETC giving Diaper Vision one last chance to unload damage onto those members of MMR Hell, but it isn't quite going to be enough. Kelthus gets taken out. It's a 2-for-0 in favor of MMR Hell. Abathur Greymane doing a lot of work before he gets taken out, so the power play is off, but so is Nazebo, as now it's a 3-for-0 in favor of MMR Hell, and they're in a commanding position in this as Abathur is going to engage the curse. Buildings are going to be off. Brightwing doing everything she can just to keep Johanna and her alive and try to buy some time for ETC and Co to join the fight, but things look awfully grim for Diaper Vision as MMR Hell has their sights set directly on the core, and this is going to be a very difficult hold for Diaper Vision as the damage just comes pouring on. Percentage points dropping like raindrops from clouds. And round one is almost certainly in the hands of MMR Hell. What a substantial comeback. I mean, from the early stages of that game, it was all a series of 2-for-1s for Diaper Vision. They were able to command the early game. They got the first three tributes totally uncontested. They got a keep real fast, and it looks like it was ripe for the taking. But MMR Hell found a way to stabilize and come back, and that was largely due to the constant threat of Abathur always being out of the fight and able to get that experience advantage back and enable MMR Hell to start winning team fights. But that's just round one. Good news. We have more combat between these two themes here in just a moment. So we'll set up round two. Don't go anywhere. We'll get the map set up and be loaded here in just a moment. Stay tuned. so the map of choice for Die for Vision for round 2 is going to be Infernal Shrines. And you could clearly see both teams very comfortable on large, big 3-lane maps. Because even though Die for Vision came out non-victorious in that round, it was clear that they were executing the plan they wanted to do. They had the team they wanted. They were able to get the rotations they wanted, and they had command of the early game. But MMR Hell was able to stabilize and forge a comeback. But it's not like they got rolled and they said, you know what, we don't need to do anything drastic. Let's pick something that's not ultimately so different. Like Cursed Hollow, there's points that require sort of long, drawn-out engagements. The difference is, instead of protecting somebody to channel, you have to secure a certain number of minion kills. And so you don't necessarily have to be on the point, you just have to be near the point. Azamodan's a great example of this, able to just basketball away several minions from the next town over, as far as folks can be concerned. And we are set for round 2, Infernal Shrines, back in Chair League. We see MMR Hell trying to close things out with a 2-0 by banning Samuro first. and Die for Vision looking to stage a comeback of their own as they ban Malfurion. So much the same start. The Sama Furion meta is real and will punish you if you ignore it. MMR Hell looking to pick up their first pick, and Kerrigan is a premier choice on this map. Able to, if Ravage is used correctly, you can just use it to completely restore your health in the middle of a fight. You can scoop up a bunch of minion kills, and you can even get a big fat shield to boot. There's really nothing bad to say about Kerrigan on this map. There's this may be the map where she shines the most. Just having a health pool that keeps spawning at your feet. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to keep jumping, playing Kerrigan pinball around the minion ball, and can really keep things in top shape. Johanna going to be another priority pick for Infernal Shrines. Conveniently, her circle is able to clump up a whole bunch of those minions, much like we saw on the last map, and so far, Die for Vision looking to say, you know what, our plan almost worked, so we don't need to change that much. We don't need to tilt too hard. We're gonna go with what we're comfortable with, and Johanna Kelthus can certainly perform on this map as well. For much the same reasons we talked about back in on the draft for Cursed Hollow. Small tight clusters of damage, and furthermore, a lot of the heroes for MMR Hell are going to be clustered into that small area and can spread the bomb to each other and the minions and just have a grand time. Jaina going to be the next pick for MMR Hell, clearly prioritizing just raw, powerful damage, picking up those two assassins first, and Muradin their backup. Oh, excuse me. So, able to stand toe-to-toe to nearly everyone in the game, Muradin should be able to occupy the point for quite a while in order to make sure that somebody doesn't walk through and rip apart Jaina or pin down Kerrigan. Both of which have a lot of damage output, but not a whole lot of health. Brightwing the ban for Die for Vision, and this is exciting because MMR Hell 3 picks in still haven't picked their support yet, and now there's 2 off the table with Die for Vision to pick next. So good draft plan for Die for Vision, knowing that, and this is quite a call here from MMR Hell banning Ariel. 3 supports now off the table with none taken yet. So I don't know if MMR Hell was just scared of that crown being on Kelthus' head. Said, you know what, we know this may affect the support. We wind up picking, but we can't have her either. The thought may be that we have enough damage that if there's strong supports in the game, that only hurts us. I mean, if it's a matter of who has the better sustain, well, Kerrigan's going to be able to heal herself. Muradin's going to be able to heal himself. Jaina should hopefully not be taking much damage to start with, so if the quality of the support role goes down, then maybe that does favor MMR Hell right now. So it's a strange world we live in, but that's up front that call looked quite strange, but it may pay out for them. I could see where they may be coming from, and it's clearly stumped Die for Vision. They're taking quite a long time to figure out how in the world they respond to this, because they have to think that MMR Hell wouldn't do that without a plan. They wouldn't just, fire off an Ariel ban with, without an idea of what picks 4 and 5 are going to be and how they're going to make that team work. Gazlo going to be the pick for Die for Vision. If they can get set up well, then that represents a tremendous amount of damage, and an almost impenetrable barrier for certain heroes to enter if they're spread out well, if they're coordinated enough. But Die for Vision burned through a lot of time to arrive at that decision, and as a reminder to fans and players, the clock isn't always immediately obvious. Sometimes internet weird things happen, so don't dawdle. You may not have quite as much time as you think. But Morales is going to be the pickup, the 4th support now on the table for Die for Vision, and that could very well represent the plan for MMR Hell. They You know, everybody's played enough quick match in Hero League to know that if the enemy team has a Morales, that's she may as well come with a skin that has a big bullseye on her back, because if you can't get to Morales, then ripping through the other team might become quite a challenge. Although MMR Hell does show the burst right now to maybe make that a non-factor. Kerrigan combo plus Blizzard might just be enough to erase someone, especially at later stages of the game. MMR Hell now on the clock, digging deep into their tank to figure out, well, this is the world we've wrought for ourselves. What do we want it to? What do we want to make of it? And it is going to be Rhaegar. So Kerrigan and Muradin in the thick of things, hoping to survive the initial blast of damage from Kel'Thas long enough to get that big heal. And you know, Rhaegar itself also shines very well on this map more than others, being able to drop shields that slowly tick away at those minions, being able to slow people as they walk through those narrow corridors around the minion points. So a strong pickup in his own right. So it's I don't know if that's what their original plan was. The Morales pick may have thwarted them a bit as well, but MMR Hell seems to have recovered as they pick yet another assassin in the form of Thrall. And so MMR Hell represents just a ferocious front line that may even make Johanna stop and pause for a minute, because she has a gigantic health pool, but it's not infinite. It does have a top end, and Morales can only heal so fast. So Thrall and Kerrigan together can just pummel away anything in front of them. And Die Provision responds with more damage of their own. So this is going to be an incredibly violent game. Both teams opting for the single big giant warrior with an army of damage surrounding them. So this should be a thrilling match to witness as we get set up here in the draft screen. So I honestly have no idea how this fight's gonna go. I think it might come down to how well can Gazlo get set up at the points. If he decides to go, he may decide to seed the first couple Punishers and just push another lane to get some experience, to get some other structure damage. There's a lot of X factors here, and with so much damage flying around, it's going to be real easy to get caught out. And so the order of the day may just be map awareness. If one team can just out-rotate the other, if one team can secure a couple picks when maybe the other team wasn't expecting it, then that alone could just be the game. And now my microphone is on, and we are live, loaded into round 2 for this playoff match here on Chair League. Looking to close things out in a 2-0 victory, representing the red team for MMR Hell. We have Zemexican on Muradin, B Mills on Jaina, Red Conscript on Kerrigan, Blue Nichols on Rhaegar, and Brooklyn Bum on Thrall. And representing the blue team, trying to stage a comeback and get to a Game 3, tournament life on the line, it's Zuz on Johanna, Renz on Kel'Thas, Joey Jojo Jr. on Lieutenant Morales, Kerrigan with a C on Gazlo, and Handsome Man on Greymane. As both teams barrel into the middle, Johanna going quite deep, but damage doesn't come out immediately from MMR Hell, so both teams just looking to poke and scrimmage while Gazlo gets set up in the top lane, doing Gaz things, being the Gaz man. And so as you're watching this engagement here in the middle, the most important bar to watch is going to be Morales' mana bar. As long as that has a substantial heft to it, Diver Vision is still in the fight. They can continue to rotate, they can continue to engage, especially at these low levels here. So it's not so much a matter of keeping everybody healthy, it's a matter of how much mana does it cost. Because eventually, as this fight goes on, Morales is going to have to hearth back. Because crucially, she'll want to be at full resources as the Punishers go up. So we're seeing Thrall duke it out with Gazlo here in the top lane, trying to keep the turret count at a reasonable level, and we're going to see a 4-on-4 rotation here between mid and bottom. And MMR Hell trying to catch somebody in Diver Vision out in rotation, but rotating too compactly to really get somebody caught out. And great positioning. But no, the Kerrigan combo does go down on Kael'thas, and he is going to fall, but it is going to not be for free as Kerrigan winds up get taken out in response. So a 1-for-1, and so far the experience advantage is in favor of Diver Vision as the Shrine becomes active for the bottom lane. It is going to be a Mortar Punisher, so the least exciting of the three, but something you still definitely want on your side. And Zemexican clearly understands the limits of what Muradin can do. Time and time again, we see him being right in the enemy's face, trying to keep vision, trying to force the use of some abilities that'll ultimately not result in any permanent damage. And being able to get away. He knows his limits and knows when to run, when to mount, when to dwarf toss, and it's, It looks dangerous, but if there's one hero in the game that can do it, it's him. So we see a full 5-on-5 engagement. Everybody's here, all hands on deck, as Gazlo does rotate down to help and set up turrets to both secure an escape and try and get some takedowns. As a lot of damage was pouring down on Kerrigan. Living Bomb is going to sentence her to a fiery doom, but the damage goes pouring down as Muradin gives chase on Greymane. So another 1-for-1, fairly even fight, but the minion count is going fairly heavily for Diver Vision, and it looks like they're going to be in a position to take this first one as they cross the 24 minion mark. But MMR Hell's not done yet. They're barreling in, trying to push that minion wave back to not give Diver Vision an easy means of retreat, but doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to keep them from scooping up the last minions they need. As they will secure... Oh god, the first Punisher of the game. And so MMR Hell has retreated or hearthed back to make sure they have the resources necessary to fight this. And Diver Vision says, well, alright, given that, we're just going to do as much damage as we can. We're going to punch through one of the towers, the wall goes down. The Punisher does fall at half health, and there's enough damage coming out of MMR Hell that they may be able to hang on to this fort here. The Punisher is... nearly gone. That last leap is going to put him directly in harm's way. And Diver Vision could keep this fight going long enough if they wanted, but they don't want to risk turning what's been a nice advantage to a devastating defeat. And a huge stun from Kael'thas is going to put Kerrigan in harm's way. And again, Greymane and Kerrigan trade for the 1-for-1. And what started out as a great combo from Kerrigan got responded very nicely from Kael'thas. And that big engagement turned into a stall just long enough to cost Kerrigan her life. So that's a match on a knife's edge from both teams. I mean, despite that first Punisher going to the side of Diver Vision, both teams just deadlocked in experience. No significant structure advantages. I know that the wall in the bottom is down, but that hasn't produced a huge advantage just yet. That may come into play later in the game when we get another engagement here at this shrine. Because crucially, the fountain in that lane is still up as well, so MMR Hell is going to be able to use it as a resource the next time the shrine's active in this lane. MMR Hell outnumbered here, having to retreat from 4 members of Diver Vision, trying to to apply pressure to the board, and MMR Hell says, well, you know what, if you all are here, that means Johanna's somewhere. But Johanna just cannot be pinned down as she traits away and dodges all the slows from Jaina. And so this is good timing from Diprovision. The next shrine should be active here in just a few seconds, so they take that Bruiser Camp to force MMR Hell to respond to it, trying to protect that fort. And that's going to give Diprovision enough time to set up, but no, in fact, all that damage, those Gazlowe turrets and siege camps, does wind up taking out Kerrigan. So, really an unfortunate takedown there against MMR Hell, and Diprovision's going to have a fairly straightforward time cleaning up these minions and getting a Frozen Punisher of their own, as they are already about 15 in before MMR Hell even joins the fight. Thrall takes the Bruiser Camp knowing that they're likely to lose this, so they want to apply pressure somewhere, but maybe not, as they do get the takedown on Greymane, 1-0 in favor of MMR Hell. So the damage comes pouring out on Morales as well. She'll get taken out 2-0, and 30 minions in, but MMR Hell looks like they managed to save this. They are, in fact, able to secure enough minions, but Kael'thas is such critically low health. Kerrigan falls as well, and Johanna, the only survivor from a slaughter coming out of MMR Hell, as they manage to fully stop Diprovision from taking this Frozen Punisher. And all the while, that Bruiser Camp pushing in the top lane is starting to really put some pressure on that top fort. And what a turnaround from MMR Hell. Have they done it again? Have they managed to pull victory out of the jaws of defeat? And with heroics active, I don't think Diprovision can engage on this yet. And so MMR Hell able to equal the minion count. Diprovision just desperately trying to make a stab at this, but there's so much power on MMR Hell that this could be a very costly mistake. But a huge laser from Gazlowe, not quite getting the damage he was hoping for. That level of disadvantage really starting to pay dividends for MMR Hell, as they're able to just weather the storm, get another 3 takedowns. And a Frozen Punisher bearing down on... Wait, I totally missed something. That Punisher went to Diprovision. They threw their bodies upon the rocks, but they were able to get a Frozen Punisher and prevent MMR Hell from ripping through the middle structure. And so that might have been the net effect of the Gazlowe laser. It wasn't for taking out heroes; it was for taking out minions. What a save from Diprovision. I say a save. They're still at a notable disadvantage in terms of board position and level, as they do trail by 2 levels, soon to be fighting into level 13 talent advantages. But they were able to buy enough time. They forced MMR Hell to respond to a Punisher, and that does give Diprovision the chance to re-establish a board presence, which they execute by taking out their siege camp down in the bottom lane. MMR Hell responds by taking out theirs, so these two should just bounce into each other in the middle and kill each other. And the fight's going to be here in the bottom. Diprovision has the initiative, but now they're surrounded from all sides by MMR Hell, looking to escape. Ring of Frost is going to pin almost everyone for Diprovision in place, as Gazlowe falls, Greymane falls, Morales isn't long for this world, and it's going to be everything Kael'thas to do just to walk the few feet back behind his wall for 3-0 in favor of MMR Hell, and they were able to continue to press this advantage as level 13 talents are now live. So if we look at structures, so far the only fort that's totally fallen is this top fort for Diprovision. Walls are down in the mid for MMR Hell, and this fort in the bottom is almost... It's a whisper away from destruction, but it is still a building nonetheless. Diprovision really cautious about trying to force an engagement with MMR Hell, just looking to get anything they can on the map. And this may work out fairly well for them. They do... collect their Bruiser Camp for the top lane, much like Thrall did in the previous engagement, if left unopposed. Or rather, either Thrall's going to have to spend some time cleaning this up, making him late for this fight, or leave that Bruiser Camp to continue to apply pressure to to MMR Hell, and a party bush set up here for MMR Hell, but damage explosion comes out. Huge damage coming out on Greymane, Kael'thas. Gazlowe trying to keep anyone safe that he can, but instead it's going to be Johanna that's taken out, Gazlowe that's taken out, and Morales the lone survivor. And the party bush is real. Don't one of the advantages rather of wandering around in a tight group is that if someone comes at you, you have all of the abilities of your team available to respond for it. But one of the disadvantages is that when your tank goes to face check a smoke screen, you're there too. And that's kind of what happened there. The damage just got multiplied because it was able to be inflicted upon the entire team for Diver Vision. And now MMR Hell will certainly collect this Arcane Punisher here in the bottom as they enjoy a 4-level lead against Diver Vision here as we approach the 12-minute mark. And problems abound as the Punisher it sets its sights down in this bottom structure here, largely unaided by MMR Hell. MMR Hell's barreling through the mid lane, and to top it all off, they sent a bruiser camp down in top, so Diver Vision just has problems all over the map to deal with, and to make it worse, that rotation from MMR Hell after getting the fort, rather than continue on to the keep, is rotating down to get another wave of takedown. Sundari comes out to isolate Gazlowe. He'll get taken out. Ring of Frost pinning Kael'thas in place, and just a huge slaughter again coming out of MMR Hell as Lieutenant Morales once again is the only survivor. And unfortunately, the dream of a stim pack onto Greymane or to rip through damage just isn't lived long enough when MMR Hell is able to inflict that explosion of damage so fast. Diver Vision licking their wounds, trying to, and I think at this point they have to have a pick. They have to be able to isolate someone, take them out, and even if it's a 1-for-1 exchange for this point, the experience difference is going to be huge enough that if they can start getting even exchanges, that'll ratchet them back into the game. They can't take many more devastating fights like that, but so far they've managed to hold on to all of their keeps. They haven't lost a keep yet, and that does allow them to continue to move them around the map with some amount of freedom. But they can't ever move too far as MMR Hell just continues to apply pressure, taking siege camps. Very well timed in both the bottom and mid lane, so it's sort of like team fights, right? If you send in one hero at a time, they're very easily dealt with. But if you send heroes, or in this case mercenary camps, to all the lanes at the same time, then I mean you can't be everywhere at once. Shrine going to be active here in the mid lane, but MMR Hell not looking to spend any time setting up for that as they're out for blood here and now, and they have their sights set on this keep in the bottom lane. They do destroy the fountain just for good measure, and it looks like that might be all they've elected to do. They didn't get the look they want, so they said, well, you've managed to hold on this day, but we'll see you at the shrine. We welcome the challenge. And so MMR Hell rotates away to get into position with Diver Vision in hot pursuit. They are going to get held up by this mercenary camp, but they do clean it up fairly quickly, limiting the amount of damage it does. And MMR Hell continuing to press their advantage, keeping Vision and wards away from Diver Vision, so they know where this rotation is going to come from as they go for the mercenary camp. Gazlowe gets taken out. MMR Hell does collapse on him, but Rhaegar is the takedown. So it is so far that 1-for-1 exchange that Diver Vision so desperately needed, and they've reduced their level deficit to 3 instead of 4, and placed a fair bit of damage on Thrall as well. But unfortunately, that mercenary camp does require attention, and Morales and team needed to restore their mana, restore their health, and if they want to save this Punisher, which again isn't the most crucial thing in the world to their survival, it's going to be a tall order as the counter goes up to 36. But more important than getting this Punisher or trying to inflict damage is just to survive, right? If you know the Punisher's coming, much better to have a full team to fight with, and this is This is very smart from MMR Hell. They managed to stop the counter at 39 long enough to get their resources back in action. Rhaegar should be at the fight by the time the Punisher gets to the keep, so it's going to be a full 5-on-5 engagement. And Die for Vision, can they hold on? Can they mount a defense to get back into this game and secure a round 3 for them in this playoff match? Punisher goes in, starts pummeling Johanna. Damage starts ratcheting out. Punisher down to about half health and a colossal amount of damage on MMR Hell, but a big Ancestral's going to keep Kerrigan back to full fighting fashion. Ring of Frost doesn't catch anybody, but Sundering is likely going to be the end of Greymane, but no, it's Morales who gets taken out. Muradin goes ham on Greymane, a 2-for-0 in favor of MMR Hell, but it's not without cost, as now MMR Hell's in full retreat with Thrall the takedown. And notably, despite having the Punisher, despite getting 2 takedowns, they didn't manage to get the keep. Die for Vision managed to hang on.
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
So what a hold from Die for Vision. I mean, they're still behind. They still have a lot of work to do, but I think that's what they needed to do. They needed to get some confidence that even if they can, even if they suffer takedowns, even if they suffer a loss, they can fight back. That takedown on Thrall, while maybe it isn't the most impactful thing to the board. I mean, if Thrall was there, maybe they get that keep, maybe they don't. But knowing that it wasn't a wipe, it wasn't a free kill, that it did cost something, lets you keep fighting, because part of this game's about morale, and another part of this game's about damage, as a whole bunch goes down on Greymane, Johanna, and Kelthus, and the engagement just immediately turns south for Die for Vision. It's a 4-for-0, and suddenly what once was hope, what once was knowing that we can fight back, we can stand, turns to ash as MMR Hell gets a full team wipe on Die for Vision, and they just barrel in through the bottom lane, looking to, at the least, secure a keep and possibly go for the end here, as they're going to have a full talent tier advantage with their Storm talents. They're going to have a 3-level advantage once again. And as a consolation prize, if it doesn't work, they've still got that Shrine active in the top lane. So we'll see what MMR Hell elects to do. Their Die for Vision is going to be spawning fairly soon, but Heroics aren't quite active yet. It's going to be about another 10 to 20 seconds before the big Heroics come back on the board, and they're looking to close out the damage right here and now, and we'll see if that works out for them. Sundering buys MMR Hell just a little bit more time to continue pummeling this core, and it is gonna cost them Thrall and Jaina as well, but the damage continues to pour out. Can Die for Vision hold on? And the answer is no. MMR Hell does, with a last thrust of the lance, dive into the core for Die for Vision and secure round 2, and with that the match and a berth into the quarterfinals for the Division 3 playoffs here in Chair League. And what it's largely the same story we saw in round 1. Die for Vision was able to start, and they were able to get what seemed like a good start. They were able to get the first 2 Punishers. But things started to look a little edgy on the second Punisher when they had to lunge in after a near team wipe and sacrifice several heroes just to not so much to get the Punisher for themselves, but to prevent the Punisher from MMR Hell from dealing significant damage. And so it just shows the focus of MMR Hell. They were able to keep their eyes on the long game. They realized that it's not the end of the world if we lose the first couple engagements. It's not the end of the world if we lose the first couple objectives. It's all about the only building on the map that matters is the core. Everything else is supplementary to that, and that's what MMR Hell showed. And it's worth noting that up until this match tonight, both teams had been playing, 1 game a season, and it's not uncommon after a loss, and I've experienced plenty of losses, at the end to go say, oh, well, this is how we, this is where we could have been stronger. This is where our opponent showed that they were able to exploit a weakness we had. And we'll go back to the tapes, we'll go practice, we'll get ready for a new opponent next week. But in playoffs, you suffer that loss, and then you have to immediately go again. And sometimes it's hard to analyze. Well, what did we do that could use some improvement? What can we adjust to exploit some weaknesses we saw in our opponent? And that's a very challenging thing to do in the span of 5 minutes, as you're coming off the adrenaline, as you're coming off from a close match. And so both teams really put on a strong effort. It's very difficult to go streaming into a round 2 like that, but both teams had a great showing. But unfortunately, there is only one W, and tonight that W goes to MMR Hell 2-0 in the round of 16. So we wish them the best of luck in the quarterfinals next week. But until then, my name's been Terra Spaz, and I will see you in the Nexus. Take care.